Hello there, they call me Mystery. Now, in this video, we are going to discuss what communism really is, cutting out all the propaganda and busting myths. At its very core, communism is the idea that society can function on the premise of from each according to their abilities, for each according to their needs. It is the very idea that you can contribute what you can and take what you need. It is a way of living in a world where material things are in sufficient abundance and people interact with one another freely because they choose to. Communism is not state bureaucracy, communist parties, dictatorships, food stamps, conformity, and censorship. That is how some people have interpreted it, mixed, of course, with endless propaganda. People find it hard to imagine a world where contributing based on your abilities and taking based on your needs would actually work. This is primarily because the idea is so foreign to us. We are used to market economies and money. Our brains just can't conceive society without these things. That's okay though. It's not our fault. If you think about it, humans are naturally communistic. We just don't call it that. For example, if you have ever witnessed a smoker ask another smoker for a light, that scene is baseline communism. The person with the light simply provides it without a second thought. We would think it absurd for the person to try and account for that transaction and demand the lighter fluid repaid or there is compensation. The only exception being the person providing the light would expect or hope that if they ever needed a light themselves from a stranger, they would provide it. This is the ethos behind communism. No accounting or debts, just the provision of things and services by ability. The lighter is a great analogy because it's a resource that is so easily available in the modern world, you wouldn't think twice about sharing it with anyone. Now, let's take another example. Let's say that you work as a plumber for a company and your co-worker asks you to pass the wrench. You don't ask what's in it for you since you live in a market economy and demand compensation for this service. This would be incredibly inefficient for the company and you simply help where required to get the job done. Organizations rely on this goodwill. What about something then more abstract? Not discounting individual pleasures, of course, but humans find the most pleasurable activities are shared ones. Sharing music, food, liquor, drugs, gossip, sharing beds or drama. Shared experiences are where participants contribute and take freely. But these are simplistic interactions and many people would say they cannot be reproduced on a national scale or globally. This is the scale problem. But this is where technology steps in. Remember the lighter example from before. Thanks to the Industrial Revolution and the proliferation of technologies, communist ideals are more of a possibility than ever before. With industrial farming and production, coupled with AI and robotics, there has never been an easier time to support everyone's basic needs. Food, housing, and access to resources without relying on human laborers to provide all goods and services out there. All people can be provided for and have their time freed up to pursue things that interest them. Imagine that. If most people spent their time on their own interests, nurturing their natural talents, instead of being forced into dead-end jobs, more people then would be happy to contribute what they can back to society based on their unique abilities. It is our amazing technology, if used for all, not just the profit of some, that will liberate humanity from unnecessary work and hardship. Many people think this is just utopian nonsense. However, many proponents of communism would tend to agree. It is unrealistic to think that this could happen overnight. Humanity needs time to create the basis for communist living, a transitional period to change society's operations, relationships, and importantly, our attitudes. They call this transition socialism. But the real sticking issue with communism is this. Oh, it's lovely in theory, but it can never be done in practice because people are naturally greedy and competitive. Now, this thinking comes from people who live in a market world, a capitalistic society where money defines social relations and is used to buy and sell anything, even people. It's therefore common sense to assume that humans are naturally calculating and only do things that will give them an advantage. Everything in life comes down to an exchange and getting what's best for me. Humans are not hardwired to be self-centered. This is a product of how the world works today. As noted before, a communist society doesn't just spring out of nowhere, but our communistic tendencies are riddled throughout daily life. Attitude shifts are required to take the focus off individual gain only and rewire the dominant ideologies as something more socially focused before ever becoming communistic. But the important takeaway is that humans are not naturally calculating, seeking what's best for the individual at every moment. On the contrary, we are social and get the most satisfaction in life when we share our skills and passions with people and our community. That is human nature. We are simply addicted to the market, and addictions can be broken. Now, if you thought that was interesting, give it a like, leave a comment, and share it with someone who should hear this. And subscribe for more. There is much to learn before we can unlock the revolution. Remember, I am, you are, we are a mystery.